Is a 9-wood too much? Now I say, is a 9-wood too much? Because is it too much loft for a fairway wood? Is it too much height for a fairway wood? At 24 degrees, what does it replace? But there's some tour players that stick a 9-wood in the bag, mostly when the rough is really thick. So 9-woods have been appearing on tour by the likes of like Tommy Fleetwood. They're not in the bag every week without fail. They're kind of in the bag now and then, and especially when the rough gets really, really thick. I've been hitting a few 9-woods here, 9 shots in, and I've only missed the green once. So I think it might have some legs. Now I don't think a 9-wood would find its way into my bag personally, but I think it could potentially help a lot of golfers. Creating height is very easy, and it lands and it stops. It's just an easy club. But the one I have here is the Callaway Ai Smoke Max. It's a 9-wood at 24 degrees. We've got a stiff Kylie Blue 60S, and the blue is the middle of the bunch. So the red is more wobbly and goes a bit higher. Blue's the middle one, and then white is a little bit stiffer at the tip and it goes a little bit lower. So it's a mid-range stiff shaft, way softer than I would normally use. But I can't really find a reason not to like it, apart from maybe on a windy day. So the peak height I've got is much higher, so the wind's going to affect it more. If you're a golfer that loses the ball to the right hand side, or generally just launches the ball really low, it could be a weapon in the golf bag that you never thought about. So I'm getting about 130 to 140 feet of height, which is much higher than I would like. But I do see a lot of golfers in the studio who come along and we get peak heights of like 50, 60 with a normal fairway wood or lower. Now that sort of golfer, like my target peak height is about 99 feet. And if we're getting like 30, 40 feet below that, we're not really in danger of going too high. We could have something that is proven on tour to be much easier out the rough, and it might just make life a lot easier. And I'm finding it difficult to miss the green in dry conditions. So I think yardage wise, I'll have a look at the average in a second. I'm just going to hit one more to make it 12 shots. And it just, oh no, I've pulled it. But it's up there and it's going to land and it's going to stay there. I've missed the green by a foot. Now, one of the difficult things with something like a 9-wood is you won't find it in a retailer to try it out. The only time you're really going to try one out is at a fitting day, if they've got one in there, like one of the specific ones from the brand, or if someone you know has bought one and they let you have a whack. Or you commit to buying one on a whim and see what it's like. But I generally do find a lot of success with 7-woods for those golfers that launch the ball really low. They might do something in their swing. They might have like really strong grips. They might get into the ball really de-lofted. They might take all the loft out of the head. So long irons are an absolute no-go. But things like 7-woods can be like really helpful for that. I never really thought of a 9-wood as an option, but they seem to be appearing. So without taking any shots out of there at all, I'm going to take the first shot out because that was 185 carry, and that's the only anomaly, and that was just literally just a cold swing. But I've got an average of 201 carry, and my variance over 11 shots is 4 yards. So across that pool of shots, I'm not getting much variance. I'm hitting the target quite often. It's something that's really forgiving out of the rough. It's just easier to get through the ball. I've got a bit more club face to sort of like spring off if I don't quite get it in the middle. I'm going to hit some 6 irons. I've got 193 rotten on this club, which is shorter than the 201 that we got there, but I think I've just gotten a little bit above what I did originally on here. Let's see what a 6 iron does compared. And I'm going to use the same golf ball, and yeah, my shorts are a little bit bright. No complaints there. 201, 195, 193. Same sort of landing, well, same sort of area of where the ball finished. I've landed short of the green and rolled up a bit more. I've got different spin rate, different height by a long way. Let's get a few in there, just see how it averages out. So that's not a very good shot. How much do I lose? Oh, that's the worst shot I've hit, and I've only hit 2 balls. Ooh. Let's rapid fire some shots off. I think my average is probably correct on there, 193. My 5 iron does go a little bit further. I do definitely need a good swing on the 6 iron. I really don't have to try as hard on a 9-wood at all, which is making me a little bit conflicted. I didn't want to like it, but I kind of like it. I couldn't bring myself to put one in the bag. I do have a 7-wood in the bag currently, but it is a mix up between the ZXi Utility and the 7-wood. I just kind of pick and choose which one I need for the course that I'm playing. 120 feet of height, 80 feet of height, and I've got 224 carry and 225 carry, so they're about the same. I am having to work harder to kind of keep up with the ease and consistency of the 9-wood here. My 5-iron is a little bit more forgiving. I've got a slightly bigger cavity. It's a ZXi4, so it's slightly bigger and chunkier and easier. The yardage is a bit stronger than a 9-wood's coming out with, but I just want to hit a couple of these just to see if the 9-wood kind of like sits in between the two. Because it could be a scenario where the 9-wood like replaces 2 irons. That's a different beast indeed, literally landed on 211. So this is going further, so it is a stronger club. Oh, not when you do that. But with a 9-wood, that'll probably still be on the green. Oh, it's gone long. How'd I go long? Didn't feel that good. Testament to a forgiving face. Carry 211 and I've absolutely slapped it. 211. Oh, awful. Oh, kind of proving a point there to myself. Okay, maybe I'm not quite properly warmed up, but with a 9-wood I don't need to be. So again, back to the 9-wood for one shot. It's just easy. Oh, that's mental. Yeah. I haven't missed the green. But it has kind of got me thinking. I was just going to go, oh, let's see what a 9-wood's like and see what it's like. And I kind of quite enjoy that. Even if I make the excuse that I'm not warmed up and I'm not paying attention, I'm not trying hard enough. There's a statistical consistency there that I'm not having to work very hard for. Definitely worth considering, especially if you already hit the ball low. Or maybe you've tried hybrids and you don't really get on with them. 9-wood could be the way. So one shot in the 9-wood taken out, which is the first one, just a bit of a rusty swing. Didn't really warm up very well. I've got 193 written on my 6-iron, I've got 192 average, even with some slap shots in there. 5-iron, I've got 211 written on there. That last one was particularly scabby. 208 on that group. Yeah, okay, so I've got 2 211s and a couple of 204s. Again, it's just maybe cold swings or whatever, but it's just so easy down here. It's caught me a little bit off guard, if I'm honest. So let's have a look at these three together. 9-wood would probably replace both clubs. That's interesting. So we've got a group here in the 6-iron and we've got a group here in the 5-iron. So they do separate from each other. 9-wood has dropped itself right in the middle of the 6 and 5-iron. But there we've got it sitting in between. So 201 is sitting in between these two clubs. It's doing it with a lot more spin. It's launching about the same. It's coming off faster. Variance is 4 yards on each club. So variance front to back is about the same. I've got a slightly bigger dispersion. Well, not even. I've got the same sort of dispersion there, but there's more shots in that club. Height-wise, we're over here. This blue line is much higher than the other two, so the wind will affect it more. But that could be a 2 birds with 1 stone kind of mix. If you're struggling with your 6 and 5-iron, get them out, get a 9-wood. But peak height is 128 feet on the 9-wood, and we've got 108 feet with the 6-iron, and we've got 107 feet with the 5-iron. So we're looking about the same height between the two. We're looking about we're just either side of it with the 6 and 5-iron. The 6 and 5-iron definitely need me to warm up to get the most out of them. Like I maybe wasn't paying attention, maybe wasn't trying as hard as I normally do or whatever. But because I could just go, right, 9-wood, bang, oh. Then the 6 and 5-iron almost tried to do the same thing. And it's like, oh, hang on, I've got to pay attention. So what do you think about the 9-woods? They're popping out on tour a bit more. Would you entertain one, or is it an absolute no-go? Because before this video, it is an absolute no-go. But after this video, I'm not going to tell anyone it's a bad idea. I'm not going to stop anyone from doing it because it works pretty nicely.